Hey, how's it going, everybody? Michael Levan here. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching. Thank you for taking the time out of your day. Obviously, everybody is very busy in one way or another, so it's awesome that you could be here with me today. The one topic that I did want to talk about, and it actually hits close to home with me, is college degrees. Specifically, do you need a college degree for DevOps? Well, the thing is that you're going to hear a bunch of different opinions on this. There's going to be a lot of different people that are going to say a lot of different things. Here's my take on it. So, number one, does a degree help you? The answer is absolutely, without a doubt. It is definitely going to help you break into the field. So, let's say you're just starting your IT degree, or I'm sorry, your IT career, and you're just kind of like getting started. Like maybe you're doing some junior sysadmin stuff, some desktop support, some bench technician stuff, anything in that fashion. The thing is that there's HR filters that you need to pass. Um, those HR filters, essentially, the way they're set up is they look for different keywords. So it goes through a system. The system says, okay, this person has this, and this. Does it say bachelor's? Does it say this and that? So that's number one. So the biggest thing is like breaking through that HR filter, in my opinion. So once you kind of break through that HR filter, that's then you're kind of in there and you're interviewing and you are showing the organization what you can do based on your technical abilities, your customer service abilities, and what you can bring to the table. Now, the question that always gets asked is, do degrees help you from like a technical perspective? Will it teach you what you need in the field? So, let's say you go and you get your bachelor's in information technology or computer science or something like that. Will you be able to take what you learned and put it into practice? And the answer is yes. However, it's going to be about 20% of it. So the thing is, when you go to school, you're learning a lot about theory. You're learning a lot about the way things work in most cases, but you're not learning like how they work. So, for example, you could be a computer science student and you could be doing a little bit of Java, a bunch of algorithms, the way binaries work, for example, the way networks work, but it's all theory based. So once you're really there and getting your hands on it, it's good, but there's nothing like hands-on experience. So the answer is, like, do you need a degree to get into DevOps? And the answer is no, don't. You absolutely don't need a degree. However, you should know that it may be a little bit more difficult for you when you're first starting out. And this could kind of go both ways based on like the environments that you're in and what part of the world you're in, honestly. Because we've definitely seen like a lot of larger companies throwing out that, requirement to have a degree. But then there are also companies that very much still think of the old ways of doing things. And, like for instance, a lot of banks, a lot of financial institutions, they're going to really harp on that. Like, yeah, we want a bachelor's degree. But to be honest with you, if you are like looking to break into cutting edge technology, those types of environments you're probably not going to be too interested in anyways. But then again, on the flip side, when you're first starting in IT, don't be picky. You should just pick whatever you can take at that time, get a year or two under your belt, and then move on to something bigger and better. Now, the thing is, once you get further in your career, it's not going to come up as much, to be honest with you. I think the question of like where I went to school and what I went to school for and what type of diploma or degree that I have, it really came up like, I would say maybe like my first few jobs, maybe like the first or second one, honestly. After that, nobody really asks anymore. I mean, I haven't done an interview in like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years, maybe longer, that like they asked me about my degree. I mean, like I have my schooling and stuff on my resume, but I'm literally never asked about it. At this point, I'm just paying my student loans every month for a piece of paper that nobody asks me about. So the good news is that if you don't have a degree and you're breaking into IT, and like whether you're going the certification route or you're just going the purely like gaining a bunch of experience route, the really good thing is that you're not going to have to focus too much on like a degree later on. Now, I remember like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, the big thing was, if you want to be in a management level role, you have to have a degree. Uh, I don't think that's as true anymore, honestly. I know a lot of managers and I know a lot of like VPs, that they don't have a degree. Directors, they don't have a degree, or if they do have a degree, it's in something like completely different. Like it's not in IT, it's not in business management, it's not in business administration, it's not in marketing, like anything like that that you would expect that you would need from a technical manager. It's very rarely do they have a degree in it, and and sometimes like they don't have a degree at all. So here are my tips for you. If you are breaking into the field and you're worried about a degree, um, there's a lot of things that can come up, right? Like you don't have the money for it, which is very common. Like degrees are super expensive. You don't get the approved student loans that you need. You don't get the approved financial aid that you need. School's simply just not for you. Like for example, for me, I love learning. I love labbing. I love breaking into books, Kindles, lab videos, anything. But school was not for me. It I don't have I didn't have any interest in like learning topics and courses that I needed to learn to graduate. Um, it doesn't do anything for me. Like it doesn't interest me at all. A lot of those topics like now to me are interesting. Like I had a marketing class one time that I needed to graduate, and I it would have been cool if I like spent a little bit more time on it for sure. Right now, obviously, with my brand and content creation, like I am doing marketing, so it would have been cool to like focus on that a little bit more. But I was a kid; I didn't know what was going on. So like, there's a bunch of different reasons. So here are my tips. One, be passionate about what you're doing. If you want to break into DevOps, understand you can't do it right away if you want to be a successful engineer. You got to do a little bit of help desk. You got to do a little bit of systems engineering, systems administration. You got to learn networking. You got to learn systems. You got to learn a little bit of programming. You don't have to be creating the next Twitter, but you should know like what's a variable, what's a for loop, what's logic, what's if statements. How do I put all these things together? How do I write code? Again, you don't have to create like a crazy big application. I don't. I create a lot of automation code. So, number one, you got to understand that you got to learn these things. Now, the second tip is don't think about time. There's a lot of people that are like, oh, you need 5 years under your belt, or oh, you need 7 years under your belt to do this and to do that. No, you don't. All you need is passion. You need a desire to learn. Listen, if your buddies are going out one Friday night and you know that you want to wake up that Saturday morning and study for a new course or for a new exam or something, maybe don't go out that night. Do you have to go out do you have to go out every weekend? No, you don't. I still enjoy going out. I still enjoy hanging out with my friends. I still enjoy going to breweries and getting beers and stuff. But when I know that I got something that I got to do or something that I got to study for, it's a sacrifice that you have to make if you want to progress in like in any career, like in anything in life, you gotta sometimes put certain things on the back burner to succeed. So, when people say, "Oh, you need 5 years," or "Oh, you need 7 years," you don't. You could get yourself in a successful DevOps engineering role in 2 years if you wanted to. Honestly, the reason why I say 2 years is because there's a lot of things to learn prior. Like I said, systems, servers, networking, programming, cloud-based technologies now are very big, obviously. So that's the only reason why I say 2 years. And maybe you could even do it in a shorter amount of time if you wanted to. But you do got to have that passion and that desire to do it. Because if you don't, and it's just a career for you, or it's just a job for you, and you're not passionate about what you're doing, it's going to take you much longer. Because of course it's going to be like, when I took that marketing course in school, I just kind of just had to do it, and I just did it, and I wasn't passionate about it, and I passed. But if I was passionate about it, I would have gotten a lot more out of it, and I would have progressed a little bit further, of course. So that's going to be like the main thing, is the passion. Now the third thing is apply for everything, get your name out there, ask for help. There are so many resources out there that you can start spreading the word about yourself. Twitter, LinkedIn, go to meetups. Of course, right now there aren't meetups happening in person, but you can do virtual meetups. You can reach out to people on LinkedIn. You can reach out to people on Twitter. There's, in the tech space, LinkedIn and Twitter are very, very huge platforms for industry leaders and professionals. Reach out, ask people, hey, can you help me with your resume, or with my resume? Hey, can you help me, with interview questions and stuff like that? And then once you get to that point, start applying for everything that you can find, apply for it. And guess what? Even if you don't have the experience, apply for it anyways. Trust me, I've had jobs before where I applied to it, and the technology that they were working with, I literally had zero experience in. The reason why I got the job is because they saw my passion, and they saw how fast I was able to progress in other areas, and then because of that, they hired me. So those are the tips that I'm going to leave you with now. If you guys would like, I could definitely make a follow-up video on this to kind of dive into things a little bit deeper. Let me know what you think, and let me know how I can help. Reach out to me, please. You can reach out to me on Twitter. It's at the NJ DevOps guy. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn, Michael Levan. Reach out to me. I'm more than willing to help you. Thank you guys for watching.